Aloha kako! Welcome back to the Net Papakahana Online Professional Development for our 7th grade curriculum. Let's take care of the lo'i. In this video, we'll be covering Unit 1, the number system. Here are the Common Core standards that will be covered in this unit. Please feel free to pause this video if you would like to read them more thoroughly. If you have a copy of our curriculum, you'll be able to find all of these standards at the very beginning of the unit. Most of the standards from this unit come from the Common Core domain of the number system, as denoted by the letters NS. On the next slide is one more standard from the number system and a related standard from the expressions and equations domain. The standards of Unit 1 focus on adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing positive and negative rational numbers. With addition and subtraction, special attention is on conceptualizing subtraction as the additive inverse. So for example, subtracting positive 3 is the same thing as adding negative 3. Subtracting negative 2 is the same thing as adding positive 2. A consequence of this is that adding opposites together cancel out. In this unit, we need to be able to do these calculations and represent addition and subtraction on the number line. When multiplying and dividing positive and negative rational numbers, we'll be focusing on applying the major sign rules. In particular, when two different signs multiply, you'll have a negative product, and when two of the same signs multiply, you'll have a positive product. We'll also be using many of the fundamental properties, such as the commutative, the associative, and the distributive properties, and new properties, such as the ability to move the negative sign around in a negative rational number. In Unit 1, we have to use all of these properties to solve real-world and mathematical problems. The Unit 1 activity that we'll be reviewing in this video is the Module 1 Adding and Subtracting Integers activity. In this activity, we'll be looking at how limu or seaweed is harvested. Today, most of the seaweed that we eat are produced from farms. But there are many species of seaweed that are safe to eat right out of the ocean. Some of these varieties include the limu kohu, the limu ele ele, and the limu lipoa. Some limu are found in slightly deep water, but many are found on rock walls and along the shore. In Part 1, we'll be looking at a rock wall with limu. Along the wall is a vertical number line that tells us where we are. We'll have to climb up and down the wall to pick some delicious limu off of it. We'll be starting right at the water line at p equals 0 feet. In Part 1a, we climb up 2 feet to get to the first limu. So from p equals 0, we end up at p equals 2. In Part 1b, we climb down 3 feet to get to the next piece of limu. From our previous position of p equals 2, we subtract 3 to go down to p equals negative 1 feet. Please pause the video and find the remaining positions at the ends of parts 1c through 1f. Welcome back. In part 1c, we decrease the position by 6. So negative 1 minus 6 equals negative 7. In 1d, we add 2 feet to our position. So negative 7 plus 2 equals negative 5. Then we need to be less steep, that is less negative, by 3. So when we subtract negative 3, it is the same as adding positive 3. Negative 5 plus 3 equals negative 2. In the last part, part 1f, we will have to go more deep, or more negative, by 8.5. So we'll add a negative 8.5 to get more negative. More negative is the same as less positive, so we could also subtract a positive 8.5 to come up with the same answer. Negative 2 plus negative 8.5 equals negative 10.5. In Part 2, we ask about finding opposite numbers among the answers in Part 1. In this video, we'll skip this part and move on to Part 3. In Part 3, we will put the values we found in Part 1 on a number line. Please pause the video and plot the numbers from Part 1 onto a number line. Okie dokie, welcome back. Here's the number line with the positions of the 6 limu found in Part 1. Let's see how we can use the number line to answer Part 4b. In this part, we are finding the distance between the limu in part 1a and the one in part 1e. From the number line, you can see that the limu in part 1e is 4 spaces away from the limu in part 1a, and each separation represents 1 feet. So these two limu are 4 feet apart. We can even find this distance by taking the absolute value of the difference. Let's finish this activity by looking at the open-ended question in part 5. In this part of the activity, we are asked to share a time when we've eaten something we found outside. Please feel free to modify any part of this activity to fit the needs of your classroom or your teaching style. We find that sometimes students struggle to understand what it really means to add or subtract positive or negative numbers. So for a lot of students, it would be helpful to see that when a number is more positive, then it is also less negative. So if we add a positive number a, then we are making a number more positive, and it is the same as subtracting a negative a, which is making a number less negative. It follows that when a number is more negative, then it is also less positive. So adding a negative a makes a number more negative, and it is the same as subtracting a positive a, which makes a number less positive. Students can also benefit from more complex variations of the number line questions in Part 4. For example, we could ask less direct questions such as, what number do you need to add to the location of limu A to get to the location of limu D? And what do you need to subtract from the location of limu E to get to limu A? This can provide an opportunity for students to learn more about what it means to add or subtract a negative number and how it affects the direction that you move along a number line. If you think that your students could benefit more from exposure to algebraic thinking and want to challenge them, then you can also ask them to translate some sentences into the language of mathematics while using variables and then solve. For example, the statement x feet is added to the location of limu A to get to the location of limu D can be written as the algebraic equation 2 plus x equals negative 5. We can also bring in some additional open-ended questions at the end of this assignment. For example, we can ask the students to imagine themselves on an uninhabited island and have the students work together and brainstorm a plan to collect enough food to eat. Okie dokie, that's it for the first unit of the Let's Take Care of the Lo'i curriculum. We'll see you again in Unit 2. Ahui ho!